Welcome back to the Pitch Pod. My name is Joe Janner. With me, my co-host Jeff Stebbins. Jeff, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Joe. Thank you. And I'm happy to be here at the Pitch Pod as always. It's always exciting to be here and talk football.
Absolutely, especially when we're looking at the English Premier League, and even more so, we're talking about our match of the week, upcoming fixture, Liverpool versus Manchester City. Big game, right?
It's the biggest game. I mean, this is it, Joe. I mean, the number one versus the number two, 1 point difference. You have two legendary managers, Klopp versus Pep. Maybe it's the last time they meet. Maybe it's the last time they meet with these two teams, Joe.
Oh, wow. Okay, now that's even adding on to this. That's massive, right? To think of it along those lines, where you said, or where even just if they were the case, that was the case where it was last, but just even where they are, the 1 point separating Liverpool in first, Manchester City in second. I mean, is that what we're saying? I may even go that route to suggest it that the winner, if there's a result that goes that way, one of the two were to win, should it be enough to then discern who will go on to win the league? Is it too early? I mean, those are big questions. What do you think?
Yeah, those are some questions that are understandable to be asking. I want. I'm not going to say whoever wins this is going to win for sure because you never know. But I do think that this is the match of the season. I think that this is what everyone's going to be sitting down to watch. This is the exciting match. Again, the two managers, the star powered teams with Salah on one end, and then on the other end you got Holland, KDB. KDB just come back from an injury. So I mean, I feel like I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know who's going to be ahead at the end of the season, but I will say this feels like the heavyweight bout.
That's fair. I don't know if we want to veer too far off course there. I think it is worth mentioning the fact, though, at least to your point, that it couldn't be or shouldn't be because the result determined who is. Don't forget that Arsenal's right there, right? I mean,
Who?
again, not to get too far away, Arsenal's right there, so 61 points in third. Let's not forget. Come on, Jeff. These guys. So maybe that's even one bit. Again, I don't want to go too far, veer too far, and talk about where they are, but it is. I like the billing heavyweight bout between Liverpool and Manchester City.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and yeah, I definitely don't want to forget about Arsenal. They're in striking distance, so yeah, it's going to be a good game. It's going to be fun, and I think had KDB not returned, maybe this changes the outcome. But now that he's back and he's starting to get into better form, that changes things for me a little bit. And Phil Foden, the guy filling in for KDB, well, guess what? He's stepping up. Just the other day, he had 2 goals. So there's a lot of things that have been changing and happening as of late that have really kind of made me question what the outcome of this game is going to be.
And I'm looking here because I think it's worth checking out. Probability Manchester City 42% to win versus a 33% for Liverpool.
Oh
What do you
wow.
think about those numbers? I mean, this is at Anfield. Really? They're given, I mean, all things considered, Manchester City, you mentioned it, KDB and on Manchester City are two different teams as he is when he's available and he's been playing. I think it's over the course of the last few years. You can see that. If he's up and he's ready to go and he's going to play significant minutes, could that be part of the reason? I just think that's a little bit more, for me at least, to give Manchester City at Liverpool. Jeff, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, if it's a reverse fixture, is it different? What are your thoughts as far as those numbers?
Yeah, no, I agree. They're the favorites, even though it is at Anfield. But I also agree that disparity of those numbers, I don't think it should be that big of a difference, right? It should be a closer difference there, being at Anfield. And I mean, just think of the talent that they have. And that's a good talking point as well. You have Salah, Nunez. These guys are starting to play and get in better form. You have Van Dyke on the back line. So a lot of talent there, but also, if there is one coach I don't want to say that has his number, but if there is one coach that's gotten the better of Pep, one manager that's gotten the better of Pep in the past few years, it's Klopp. His in-game coaching is amazing. So yes, Man City is filled with talent. They have the money. They can buy the best of the best, and they do. But at the same time, you know, this is a really quality and competitive team out of Liverpool, and there's a reason that they're number one.
Absolutely. I like the analogy that we used before with the heavyweight boxing bout. How about going though, since you mentioned in game and the ability of Klopp to effectively get the results in the in game? Why not use the chess analogy as well? I mean, we going back to last week's fixture, a little bit controversial. Speaking of in the in game, a goal notched in by Nunez to go up and win, getting points away, getting themselves to help themselves remain at the top. I mean, that is a big part, I think, of Liverpool's success is the ability to play a complete game, two good halves consistently. Whereas Manchester City, I mean, even though they're right there, have shown maybe not as recently that maybe they're not always 100% as consistent throughout a whole match as I think that Liverpool now is and has been for some time this season. I'm looking forward to this one. I think, again, whether it's the heavyweight boxing bout or it's the chess match that it could be between these two top managers, I'm looking forward to it, Jeff. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. And speaking about that in-game coaching, it's going to be interesting to see what Klopp does because Man City's got so much firepower and so many offensive threats. It's hard to shut that down completely. So, I imagine they're going to be pretty physical with Holland. They don't want to just camp out in the middle of the box there and get some easy putbacks. But at the same time, they have to account for all these other quality players that can get in the mix, whether it's Rodri or KDB or Phil Foden. So it's going to be interesting to see how he handles all that. But if there's anyone that's up to it, it's Klopp. So yeah, I'm excited. And Joe, I think I'm ready for my prediction. But I'll let you any final thoughts or are you good to go?
Well, that's the last bit. Just kind of look at the reverse fixture in the league. It did end up being 1-1. We've almost said everything, or a lot of the conversations alluded to this. The fact, though, that was a side without KDB. Now he's playing in this one. I think that's a big reason and a big point as far as why those numbers might be leaning towards a favorable side for Manchester City. But I think the magic of Anfield and where they are, you mentioned it, the end game. I have Liverpool winning this 2-1.
Oh wow. Wow. Well, that'd be a heck of a game, and that would require some Anfield magic. But who knows? Maybe if they're up for it, they're up for it. I could see that play out, but I think I'm going to go with what most people are saying. Who most people are saying are the favorites, which is Man City. With KDB being back, it changes things. And as good as Klopp is as a in-game coach and how he's done against Pep in the past, I just feel that Liverpool has struggled against worthy opponents, getting enough points on the board. Sometimes it seems like Salah is trying to do too much by himself, and maybe they're a little bit too reliant on getting corners. So, as good as they are, as good as he is, I think that they're struggling to score enough, and to win against Man City, you have to be able to score several goals. So I have Man City winning this game 2-1.
Oh, wow. Okay. So the reverse almost. Here we are, the pitch pod. Once again, looking at it could go either way in some sense, if we're at least compare that. But I think you're saying you just really believe that it's going to take a lot more than just getting by. It's going to take a quality attacking performance by Liverpool. They're going to have to score multiple goals, and you don't see that happening. But on the other side, you see Manchester City having success along those lines, scoring the two and keeping Liverpool to one. Okay. Wow. I think that's again why we're all looking forward to this one, right, Jeff?
Yeah, I mean, again, Man City, they're pretty unstoppable. That's, money can buy a lot of things, Joe.
Wins and a league title and so much more.
Yeah, yeah.
You said it.
Last season, right? Maybe they win Champions League. Maybe they win the Premier League this year. Who knows? But either way, it's going to be a fun match. And I know you and I are looking forward to seeing it. So hopefully everyone out there gets a chance to tune in. And till next time. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. If you like what we bring you here at the Pitch Pod, please do us a favor, hit that like and that subscribe. Don't forget, we're available on Apple Podcasts as well as Spotify. Thank you, everyone, and keep pitching out there.
In a game, the round ball, round posts, anything can happen.